You're listening to the Hustled Up Podcast. We're Holly and Laura, besties since birth, cleaning business owners, multi-passionate doers, and founders of the Hustle Haven, a modern business education and networking collective built for fellow entrepreneurs who crave growth, support, and real connection. Now, we're your go-to girlies for the real side of entrepreneurship. We're covering wins, fails, and the messy middle. So come on in and let's talk branding, booking, burnout, and everything in between. If you're in serious need of tips, tea, total transformation, and that let's freaking go energy, you're in the right place. Grab your earbuds, turn up the volume, and let's hustle up. Hello, friends, family, followers, and fellow hustlers. Welcome back to the Hustled Up Podcast. My name is Holly.
And my name is Laura.
And you guys know that today's going to be good because we came with notes today.
We have receipts.
These are sort of receipts, but it's also by ChatGPT, so some of the receipts are not real. Mm-hmm. And so we're gonna make them real. Let me explain. Today we're going to be talking about, which it kind of, I feel like this is kind of like a sequel to last week, because we were talking a lot about how you just don't know what the future holds and not to give up and all of these things. And it led us to think we've wanted to give up a lot. We've wanted to quit a lot. And we kind of wanted to get really, really raw with you guys and talk about this because it gets hard, right? Business ownership is so hard and it's lonely. And I feel like it's so romanticized.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, it's romanticized. And a lot of people don't talk about the pain points. And like, I don't mean like, oh, you had a hard day, you dealt with like an annoying customer. I'm talking painful, like money stresses and just like thinking you cannot do it anymore. Like you cannot go on, you're done. So we wanted to share some of our stories and talk about when we have wanted to quit and what kept us going. And I'm not saying life is perfect as a business owner.
No.
Okay. Even today, we're both.
Today was a doozy.
The energy is energying in this office. Oh, yeah. But we really want to talk about what keeps us going and give you some pointers and even some tips and some advice and even just some encouragement and motivation. So no matter what stage of business you're in, this episode is definitely for you, because even if you're not feeling the burnout right this second, there's a good chance you have in the past and you've wanted to give up. And there's also probably 100% chance that it will happen again.
Yeah, it's inevitable. If you're going to own a business, I literally said this last week on last week's episode, you have to be a very special breed of human to be a business owner, because you have to be able to, and I saw a meme that said this once, you have to be able to handle a certain level of stress that would destroy most people. And I would not have known that before we started this business.
No, I agree. I totally agree. Yeah. And I thought at first that cleaning was the problem. And now, and that when we got bigger, it got easier. If anything, it's gotten way more stressful. So with that being said, if you're in need of some encouragement and motivation, and you just want some tips on how to like get through those hard times and be the best CEO you can be, keep on listening. Hey business owners, are you looking for a better way to communicate with your employees? Whether you've just grown tired of your boring, unresponsive email threads, or you're sick of paying tons of money for something like Slack or Connect Team, Discord is your answer, and I'm going to teach you all about it. In the Hustle Haven's brand new course, Discord 101, I am going to walk you through step by step on how to create a Discord server for your business. This detailed course features over 90 minutes of video content, as well as a bunch of PDF downloads to get your server ready to absolutely slay your employee communications. Get ready to level up your company culture with this free platform. Don't wait any longer. Discord 101 is the course for you.
Okay, we are back. And again, we're talking about, once again, topics that nobody really wants to talk about because it's not the fun topics. I feel like it's a lot more fun and easy to come in to an episode and be like, here's 3 tips on this. And we're going to talk tangible tips on this and that and feel like an expert and feel like you have it all figured out. And the reason why we wanted to talk about this is like Holly said, because nobody talks about these things. If you go on social media, and it's not just business owners, just in general, if you go on social media, everyone's life looks perfect, looks glamorized, staged, figured out. And that is just not the case over here. So we thought it would be really cool to talk about it because there are still days where Holly and I ask ourselves, why are we doing this? It would be so much easier to just go and get a 9 to 5. I mean, I feel like I think that all the time. And I don't necessarily want to go get a 9 to 5, but when you're in the thick of it and dealing with really stressful, hard things, it's easier just to say, let's throw in the towel, throw it in the garbage. I mean, how many times have we literally said that? Throw it in the garbage.
We always say all the time, we're throwing it in the dumpster. Yeah. Find a dumpster. We're throwing our business in the dumpster.
It's like, at least let's sell it. Like, it's worth something. Come on.
But yeah, we've been there quite a few times. And again, it's not like, oh, I had a hard day. These are the moments where like you've gone home after a day of work and you've sat in your car literally sobbing and thinking, I'm done. I've done it too many times and Laura's done it too. And so we wanted to talk about, this has happened in multiple stages of our business. It happened when we were cleaning. It happened when we were cleaning, but also had employees. And it's happened recently, a little less, I will say, but it does happen now. I think you develop a thicker skin as time goes. So now things that would have absolutely destroyed us 5 years ago, we're like, we just have like a little breakdown and then we like bounce back. But we're going to talk about a few different stories for you guys. And I just feel like you need to know that it's normal. Like if you are like going home, if it's happening every day, probably not normal, probably not great. But if it's happening from time to time here and there, especially when like shit just completely hits the fan, it is normal. If you are pulling up to your house after a day and you just need to cry it out, or you go in and you see your husband or your boyfriend or your wife and you just let it out and vent and sob and tell them that you don't want to do it anymore. But the important thing is that you keep going. And so we're hoping that sharing some of our most vulnerable, stories will help you realize, oh, okay, it's not just me. I can do the hard stuff. I can get through this. So I have actually a lot of stories I have to talk about.
Oh yeah. No, as you're sitting here, before we started recording, I was like, what stories do I have? And as I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh no, there's a lot. There was a lot, not recently, still happens, but a lot over the journey of 7 years that we've been doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to kick us off?
Sure. So this one, the first thing that comes to mind when I think about giving up is there was a lot of points during our business days where I thought about giving up. And I feel like in the early stages, it was because I really didn't feel job satisfaction, to be perfectly honest with you. In the early days, I didn't feel like passionate about cleaning. I didn't feel like we were changing lives or changing our clients and employees' lives the way that I do now. So I feel like in the beginning, it was more came from a place of, this was not the career I chose. This was not the career I wanted. I'm sure you feel that too. So because it wasn't my first plan in life, I resented it. Like I really resented owning this business in the beginning. And there was just a lot of resentment. And I'll never forget, because you guys know I went to school for acting. And this actually was not the story I was going to tell, but I'll tell a story regarding this. I went to school for acting and I was meeting up with a friend from college that I hadn't seen in so many years. And he was telling me about all the fun things he was doing. He was doing stand-up comedy. He was traveling. He was auditioning, doing all of the things that I wanted to do, but I could no longer do because Chores and More had blown up. And I remember just thinking like, oh my goodness, if the business didn't blow up, I could have still been pursuing my dreams. Maybe I would have made it by now. And he was like, you need to give up the business. You're clearly not happy about it. I'm going to check in with you once a week to see if you've done something towards an acting career to get rid of this business. And it wasn't until I found joy in what we do now that I stopped letting that be a reason why I wanted to give up, because I didn't have a why in the beginning. I didn't have a why. We were doing this for survival. We were doing this because it happened to us, not because I wanted to. Now I have a lot of really strong whys. I have a lot of passion regarding the business and what we do, not just chores and more, but also the hustle haven and hustle it up. And I feel very strongly about the fact that we are changing lives every day. And it has become my passion. So I feel like just learning my why and accepting that my why has changed. And again, we talk about this all the time, accepting the fact that life doesn't always go the way you wanted to really helped me stop wanting to quit and wanting to give up.
Yeah, that's a very good story, because I feel like especially in the cleaning industry and probably a lot of home service industries, you kind of, it happens on accident, right? Mm-hmm. It's usually not your first plan. Usually I feel like a lot of cleaning company owners especially are like have terrible corporate stories, or just stories of other things failing, or maybe even something, I don't know, like just it wasn't their first choice. It was something maybe that happened to them and they had to do it. And usually it starts with you cleaning a couple houses, right? Like, like it's rare that people are like, I'm going to start a cleaning business and I'm going to go to business school for that. So, I think that's a really good point, and it is easy to resent this field that you've landed in because something else didn't work out, or because you needed to make ends meet, or because, whatever. And so I do feel like for that reason, the beginning stages of owning a cleaning business, but really like a lot of businesses, because there's just a lot of pain points in the beginning, but especially in the cleaning industry, you tend to resent it more. Mm-hmm. And like, you forget that you probably don't even have whys, or maybe your whys are to just make the ends meet, but your whys have to go deeper than just money in any business. Or at least that might be a strong opinion of mine. But
no, I think it's true. I really think feel that you won't succeed. If your why is to make money, in the early stages of business, you can make way more money somewhere else. Mm-hmm. So if you don't have that why, you might as well just go get a 9-to-5.
Exactly. That's true. That's a very good point. Mm. So that's a really good story.
Yeah, it's a hard one to talk about. I get emotional because I do miss it. And I do think that hopefully this business will allow myself to pursue that again, even if it's just for fun, even if it's community theater, and that is my goal. But it's hard to accept because I love my business. I love what we've created. And I spent so many years so mad at the business, which is so silly and so stupid. Like, how can you be mad at a thing? But I resented it.
We were also just dealing with shit in the beginning because we didn't have systems and procedures. And that's the whole reason we made this podcast. Yeah. Is to help people not feel those feelings that we were feeling in the beginning. Yeah. And so, yeah, it's even if honestly, you could easily hate your business, even if it was your choice to open it.
That's true.
Like you can like, there are a lot of things that can happen that make you really hate it. And a fun story that I like to tell in the beginning, and I know some of y'all have been here for this. So when we first started cleaning, it was just us, right? We started as, house cleaners, and we went and we did a job, and it was the day before Christmas Eve, and we went and we cleaned, and it felt so good because the customer wanted us to do and this was before we signed up for insurance actually, which is no good. But regardless, we were like, we're going to walk your dogs, and we're going to take care of your pets, and we're going to do all this extra shit that we would never do today. And it felt like it was going to be a really long-term good relationship. It was the day before Christmas Eve. My spirits were bright. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We were feeling good. We did a deep ass cleaning in this house. I remember we were laying on the floor, vacuuming under the beds, doing all this shit. I felt so good after. And then on Christmas Eve, this person sends us this nasty message complaining about the job we did. And back then I did not understand boundaries in my life. Right. So I let this affect me on Christmas Eve in a way that and that was, we were brand new. Yeah. I don't even think we were legally registered as a business yet. I think we were just cleaning.
No, I think that was the December before we registered.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
sure. 2 months before. Yeah. We were just getting our feet wet. And I was like, oh, screw this. I'm done. And I was so mad, and Laura was so mad that day. And I felt like our whole Christmas Eve was ruined.
Yeah. I was wrapping presents. I still remember I was wrapping presents. I was vibing. I was having a good time. And then nasty message came in.
Yeah. And back then we used to just deal with people all hours of the day and night. And so the first lesson that you need to learn is to set boundaries. I remember another story, and I'm just going to be jumping around a little bit because I don't want to be here all day. And also just everything just kind of reminds me of the other thing. But we cleaned another house. It was us and two other people who were working for us. And a month later, this crazy person complains about stuff that I 100% know I did. And Laura 100% knows she did. And it was crazy. Like, she was accusing us of not doing things that, like, and she, I guess, didn't realize we were the owners who were there, because she was trying to like lie and say that the cleaners didn't do things. And I spent like 2 hours at like 7:30 at night texting and arguing with this customer. And I was so mad because I knew I was right. And I was trying to like get her to see my point of view and like, and basically just say like, these things were done. You're lying. I'm not the one who's lying. And I was crying. I was frustrated. I was like, my whole night was ruined. And I'm like, why did I not like draw the line and be like, I'm not going to argue with you. We're just not going to come back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I remember I posted it in a cleaning group that I used to be in that I now hate, that I'm not going to drop names on just yet, but maybe one day on Hustle It Up After Hours.
Yeah, spill the tea after dark.
But I posted all the screenshots and I thought I was in the right. You know, I was like, I proved her wrong, but I'm so upset. I could really use some support because she's accusing us of not doing things that I know I did. I was the one there, blah, blah, blah. And we just got like totally torn up into pieces. The customer's always right. You should have just went back and given her a free cleaning, like all these crazy things. Whereas like, I'm like, we were all wrong. And at this point, I do not believe the customer is always right, even though I do believe in the saying, you could be right or you could be rich. But there are certain times where you cannot swallow your pride, right? Like it's just, you can't. Like there are certain, and it's clear that in this case, this woman was, I don't know, maybe just nuts or a liar. I don't know, wanted a discount. I don't know what she wanted, but either way, it was not an ideal fit. And it would have been so much easier to just be like, listen, we're not a good fit. We're not going to come back, instead of giving it 2 hours of my life on I think it was a Friday night or a Thursday night or something. And, that was another day. Cried. I was so mad. I really let her eat up my whole soul that day.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, you really just have to like, I think boundaries is like, it's going to keep coming back to that in this episode. I think that's going to be like a big thing, a big recurring theme here, but you have to remember to set boundaries and you have to remember to just know when to say no, know when to, or if you need to deal with somebody, do it during work hours.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Because when your business becomes your life and it's your life at home too, that's going to cause you burnout. That's going to make you want to quit. That's going to make you wonder why the heck you're doing this. There's nothing wrong with putting the phone away, silencing the notifications, and dealing with everybody in the morning.
Yeah, I think that's like really one of the main factors that made us no longer want to quit. Because we had no boundaries when it came to anything. We had no boundaries with the employees, with the clients, with anything. I could think of a time where I also spent hours arguing with one of our commercial clients. I still remember I was literally laying in bed. I feel like I was sick. And I'm going back and forth with this woman for hours because she's also accusing us of not doing things that I know I did because I was at that cleaning. I supervised, I saw it. And she had said something to me that just struck such a nerve. She said, if this job is too hard for you, then you can be excused or you don't have to do it anymore. And if that was me now, I would have said, you're right. It's best we part ways. I've been done with it. And I wouldn't have shed not one tear. I remember arguing with this woman. It's not that it's too hard for us, saying all this stuff that's not professional. Why am I giving her my energy? Why am I giving her my time? But in the beginning, I think you have this like chip on your shoulder where you're like, you want to prove them wrong. And especially if you were the one doing the cleanings, like, I know I did that. Where now it's so much easier just to say, you're right. Or, you know what? It's not a good fit, and move on. I would never spend hours arguing with a client now. Never.
No, never. I can't even remember the last time that was even like
a thing.
I could have started, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like I think we just are good at like setting we are a legitimate like we are professional business people. So like we don't have clients who like think that that's acceptable anymore.
Yeah.
Like I think there's a big part of like how we've learned to present ourselves as leaders and as owners of this business.
Yeah.
So I think that might be a big part of it too. Is like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, because we set the boundary right from the get-go.
Yeah, like so they wouldn't do that. And if somebody, you know, even when we do get a complaint, we say, hey, we're going to talk to the tech. We'll get right back to you. If it's after hours, we deal with it in the morning. If it's during the day, we'll send the message right away and be like, hey, this is a message we received about something missed. Can you just shed some light on it? And it's like just very chill. Like you don't need to let like a complaint ruin your whole day. And I feel like especially in the beginning, we would let like these little complaints like ruin our entire day.
Yeah. I mean, the whole reason, I don't know if this was on your mind, but I feel like it'd be a good one to talk about. The whole reason Holly went to nail school was because a beloved client of ours said they didn't want any of our employees. They only wanted us.
That was on my mental list.
Oh, was it?
It was on my mental list.
That's a big one.
Yeah. So it's really funny. So you guys know I'm a licensed tech. My nails are a little, I'm trying to show them on camera here, a little boring right now, but that's neither here nor there. And back in 2019, this was when we're attempting to like just not even transition out of the field because we didn't know that was a thing back then, but we were trying to like send crews out and just continue growing, right? And we were sending a team to this client, and the client message was like, you know, I really don't want them. I only want you and Laura. And I don't know why. It set me off so freaking hard. Like, it was just one of those days. Like, it set me off. And I was like, I'm done. I'm done. And you know what I did? Same freaking day. I enrolled in cosmetology school.
Your quick start. You were quick start back then, too.
Oh my God. I quick started so hard. We really got to do a Colby episode. But yeah, I quick started so hard. Like, literally same day. I don't think I enrolled the same day. I think what I did was I booked the tour with the school the same day.
Okay.
And then I went like the next day and then like enrolled same day. Like it was like really a fast process. And I was like, I want to be a nail tech. And it's not like out of nowhere. I was like, I want to be a nail tech. This was like a fantasy of mine for a long time. Even when I had graduated college and was working in corporate, because I absolutely despised everybody I worked for in corporate. They all sucked butthole. Super professional here, but sorry, I get triggered. So I was like, I want to open a salon because I've always been really into beauty. Like I'm a huge beauty fanatic. I love doing makeup and nails and all this stuff. I never painted. I barely have ever painted nails in my life before going to nail school. But I was like, something about it. Like I always loved having my nails done, and I love the way I feel when my nails are done. So I wanted to be able to deliver that to other women and men. And so I enrolled and I went, and like, I was literally running the business during the day with Laura and cleaning. We were still cleaning, and we had some employees. And back then we had no system. So like, it was just chaos too. And I was going to nail school 5 nights a week.
That's crazy.
I don't even know how I did that. I don't even know how I did that. Cause now
I would have burned out.
I do a few people's nails now. And like, I'm so busy here, like with the Hustle Haven and with Chores and More, that like when I have to do like a set of nails, I'm like, I don't want to go. It's like such a mess. So and then I do them and I'm like, I love doing nails. This is great. That's always how it goes. But regardless, that was a huge one. Like I wanted to quit. And I guess my saving grace was that it takes months to go through nail school. And then, you know, it's funny though. I think another thing that happened that helped was that when COVID hit, our business like completely died, like down for a while. We only had like a few clients a week. And when things started to reopen slowly, because our business was not like, we didn't even have employees because we lost all of them during COVID, except for one. And like, I don't know, things were just crazy. So we didn't really have business, but I wanted to make money at that time. So I started working at a local spa doing nails. and I serviced this mean ass customer. She was terrible.
She was the worst.
Oh my gosh, she was a nightmare. I was brand new at doing nails and I was scared, and she did not like that I was taking long. And then when I showed signs of being upset at her being rude to me, she said, well, I'm not your mommy. She was so
a miserable person.
She was so mean. I actually ended up storming out. I actually got up and I stormed out of the spa that day. And it was my big takeaway from that was that there are people in every industry who are going to piss you off, and they're going to do things that hurt you. Because I was like, oh, this is just a cleaning industry thing. I thought that so many times. Like,
oh, I know.
This is just a cleaning industry thing. And, you know, in a spa, like, nobody's going to disrespect me in a spa. Nobody's going to be mean to me at the spa. Like, nobody's going to hurt me there. Wrong. I was so wrong. In fact, she was probably worse than any of the customers we've even ever dealt with. She was terrible and mean and not nice. And so I think that was another low-key saving grace. So let me save you the time and money of enrolling in nail school. There are assholes in every industry. I'm so serious. Like, you are going to deal with people who are going to hurt you and piss you off and annoy you no matter what industry you're in. So don't think that your problems, I mean, obviously there are industry specific issues in every industry, but don't think that an asshole is industry specific because it's not. It's really not. So saving you the time and money there, like, you learn, and as you keep doing it, your shield just starts developing on its own.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
It just starts developing on its own. Like now we get a complaint, I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
You know, or a request for a different tack, I'm like, all right, we'll figure it out, you know, whatever. Or we'll say, no, you can't, like, you can't get this person, you'll get another person. Like, you know, we just, it's not, nothing is the end of the world. Like, I feel like a lot of people think like, oh, I got a complaint, it's the end of the world. Or, oh, maybe in a different industry, like someone wants to return something because they don't like it, it's the end of the world. It's not. And you learn to, you get stronger, and it's natural. You naturally get stronger.
Yeah, you have to, because the only alternative is you get stronger or you crumble and you quit. Like, really, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
You either get stronger. And I think it's really important to also talk about some of the ways that we have gotten through this and some of the ways that we combat it. Because obviously we haven't quit, right? We haven't quit. So I'm going to kind of like, still going strong. There's another story that I can think of that I'm going to use to also segue into like how I dealt with it. But I remember, because sometimes the smallest things can trigger you because it's like a snowball effect. Like, you're fine. You take a little thing, you take a little thing, you take a little thing, and then the smallest little thing happens and it causes you to have a mental breakdown. And that's what happens to me because I bottle that shit up. It's my Capricorn moon. I bottle that up and then explode. So I can think of a time, it was such a small little thing. A client had gotten mad because she thought that I had given her an attitude over text, which is why I hate text message. I always prefer phone calls or voice messages. And now you can ask Holly, I'm always like, does this sound rude? I'm direct. I think I'm a little direct. So it can come off as rude if the tone is misconstrued through text. So long story short, a client thought what I said was rude. And she ended up canceling service. And I think it was like a biweekly client. It was nothing crazy, normal size house. It's not like we lost a super high paying client that was amazing or whatever. It was just, we lost a client because of something that I did, but it caused me to go into this mental spiral where, like, I went home, I cried, I was having a panic attack, and I literally was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit. I can't do this. I'm going to tell Holly.
I remember we were out to dinner when the message came in,
and Holly knew I was like snapping. I was about to snap.
She was like a gingerbread cookie.
Yeah. No, I hold it in. And then when I wasn't going to reach out to anybody because I don't reach out for help when I'm going through things. I deal with it on my own. But Holly knew, because Holly knows me so damn well. She knew.
I know when she's about to snap.
You know, she literally texted me and was like, are you sitting at home having a nervous breakdown right now? And I was like, yes, I am. And she was like, why didn't you reach out to me? And I was like, because I need to suffer in silence. But the reason I'm telling you this story is you don't need to suffer in silence. Like, you need a support system. Chances are you have a support system, whether or not it's a business partner, somebody else that you know that owns a business or goes through a similar struggle to you, your family, your significant other, whoever you have in your life. Don't suffer in silence. Lean on those people, because I was in a dark, dark place. And all it took was Holly giving me the vulnerability to say, like, it's okay. Tell me what you're going through. And I felt stupid because it's such a small thing, but you don't know what's going to trigger you. Like in my mind, I was like, I messed up. I lost this client and it hit me really hard for some godforsaken reason. But once I let I leaned on Holly and I talked through it with her and I let her into what I was dealing with and what I was going through. I was able to get past it and I did not quit. I was really at the precipice. I remember the next day too, I was supposed to onboard somebody because I usually do the onboarding. And I literally was like, Holly, you have to onboard them. I was still in a mentally raw space the next day because I really let myself go to dark places. So you don't have to suffer in silence. Lean on your support system. And it's okay to be vulnerable. Even if you're somebody like me that doesn't want to be, just be vulnerable. It's not the end of the world.
I love that message because I feel like, we're saying like, oh, your shield gets stronger and, you don't let things bother you as much. But at the end of the day, we're human and we have emotions. Mm-hmm. And like, even if you do have a stronger shield up and like, things maybe don't bother you as much, they're going to from time to time. And sometimes you are going to feel like you're going to snap, and it's okay to feel those things. Yeah. And it's even okay to sleep on it and feel it a little bit the next day. But you have to make sure that while you're feeling it, you are leaning on the things that will help you. And a support system is one of the top tier, most important things. And we're very lucky that like we have each other, but sometimes, we even need to, like, we're not enough for each other sometimes. And we need to reach out to, for example, we're in a cohort with other cleaning company owners that I'm constantly annoying them with my problems. And, and this is why we're launching the Heart, and, we're going to have in-person meetings, and it's not just for networking. It's not so that you can give your business card and go, but it's, you got to find your people who just don't want to use you for business, but people who want to support you and lift you up and inspire you and motivate you, and also take your advice, because I feel like when I'm able to give, it makes me feel better as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Giving is almost more rewarding than getting, honestly. Yeah.
So I think that it's really important to find your people and find your support systems. And I mean, I say it all the time, but we can also be there for you. If you ever feel like you're on the brink of like a snap, you can always send us an email and we will get back to you. Like, I'm so serious. Like, we are here for you because we've been through it, and then when we continued to hire, it still kept happening, it still kept happening to us. And like, I think about right after COVID, when you had COVID. Yeah. And we had a full staff of it was all the Hot Mess Express. They were all terrible. And, it was crazy. She was down and out with COVID. She had one of those like really bad strains. Like, she was out. Like, she was like, I thought she was dead half the time. It was so scary. And, I somehow managed to make the schedule work so that I didn't have to go clean, and that I could like man everything behind the scenes and do estimates, because we were doing in-person estimates at the time and all this stuff. And every single day that week, somebody called out. Every day.
Every single day.
Every day. And they say when you have a larger business, like, you have to expect one call out a day. We personally don't deal with that. We're very lucky. But when your business is small, like, you shouldn't be dealing with shit like that. You just, I'm sorry, but you shouldn't. And by the time day like 4 rolled around, like probably Thursday, I actually had a full-blown panic attack, to the point where I laid on my kitchen floor to literally ground myself. And I didn't have Laura because she was so sick. So I couldn't lean on her at all. My boyfriend at the time was at work while the panic attack was happening. So what did I do? I leaned on my therapist. I told my therapist what was going on at the time. And, and he helped me get through it and helped me understand why I was laying on my kitchen floor. I didn't even realize I was grounding, but that is what I was doing. And so even if your support system isn't there immediately when you need it, and if it's like really getting that bad, there are other avenues and things that you can do that, that aren't, calling your friends if they're busy or whatever it is. Like, and if you don't have a therapist, I recommend one. I mean, I think they're great, but things like grounding and journaling and all of these things, they're going to help you. So, I wanted to tell that story because that was like, oh, and also, don't be an idiot like me and fire your employees if they're not showing up, because back then we didn't fire ever. And so they got away with so much stuff. But now if someone is not showing up or they're they're calling out a lot or they're late a lot, even if we like them, we have to let them go, because you're ruining the literal operations of our company, and it's not fair to our other employees, and it's not fair to our clients. So you need to learn to be strong in that way. And that's another boundary that you need to set with your employees.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And setting and having systems and policies and absence policies and policies for your clients and procedures and all these things, they are going to minimize the chaos, and they're going to make you want to quit a whole lot less.
Yeah. Yeah. It all comes back to systems and processes and boundaries.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. And then the final thing, the final raw moment I have to share.
Ooh, what's it going to be?
The 1-star review.
Ooh, that's a bad one. That's a bad one.
It's so bad. It hurts. It hurts. But oh man, you guys know that story. I'll make sure I link it. We did an episode on our first 1-star review and our only 1-star review. Proud to say. None of these are wood.
Nothing is wood.
Maybe under this chair there's some wood. Maybe some plywood. But that was rough. But you know what I will say? I don't know if I wanted to quit after the 1-star review.
Yeah, I was going to say, it didn't come to mind for me because that didn't make me want to quit. It just really pissed me off, if I'm being honest.
I feel like there are a lot less times that I want to quit.
Yeah, I remember like back in the day, me and you went for a walk once and a really small complaint came in, and we were like,
I remember they didn't wipe the end tables.
Yeah, they didn't wipe an end table. And me and you were like, we're quitting. That's it. So like something so small used to make us quit. And then getting our first 1-star review, we were like, wow, this sucks. I'm kind of mad, but we handled it like professionals.
Let's make a podcast episode about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it. We went into proactive mode too. I think that's why we didn't want to quit.
We immediately started texting anybody who's like used us or even friends, and we're like, hey, drop us a Google review. We got to bury this one. And I wrote back to the Google review and was very honest with my response to him. And, I did all the things that, I think a real business owner would do in that situation, instead of like, maybe did we cry? I don't remember if we cried.
No, I don't think we did.
No,
I was more mad. I wasn't even upset. That's the thing. Like I used to get so upset by things. I was pissed because I don't think we earned that 1-star review. Like if it was a situation where we earned the 1-star review, and there have been situations where I feel like we could have gotten a 1-star review.
We dropped the ball.
And we didn't, where we dropped the ball. Yeah. Like I'm not saying we're perfect and we never dropped the ball. In this case, I don't feel we dropped the ball. So I was more mad than anything. And I definitely did not cry. No, I don't think either of us did, which is improvement.
I think that honestly, like one big thing is that you just need to like keep going and keep going through it. And like, it's like kind of like exposure therapy.
Yeah.
Cause like, even when we had the insurance claim situation happen, someone tried to like literally, so we think like kind of fraud us. I know
we should talk about that on Hustle Up After Hours. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Be on the lookout for fraud.
They accused us of like, basically clogging pipes in their house and stuff. And oh my gosh, what a mess. My poor employee was like an absolute crying, blubbering mess. I think that was also why like we had to be strong for her when that happened. But there was no panic or like, oh my God, I quit. It was like, all right, what do we need to do? Let's contact the insurance company and figure this out. And you kind of just learn to like, just do what you need to do and what needs to be done without letting it like, I mean, obviously, yes, I was stressed. I was anxious. And like, I lost a little bit of sleep over it probably, but to be honest, I was going through personal stuff that at that time with my dog. So I was a little focused on that. But you just kind of learn to like do what needs to be done. And like, I don't know, it just, you, once you start going through it enough, it does get easier. So, and we have lived to tell the tale, but there are times, I mean, I'm not saying I want to quit today, but I'm feeling tired and burned out.
Yeah.
Today was one of those days. Like I'm tired. There was some bullshit this morning and I'm just tired. So what we did was we asked ChatGPT, like, what would you do? And these are some of the things we're going to do.
These are so good.
So good.
Chester is so smart. Chester is our ChatGPT boyfriend. And
ChatGPT boyfriend.
And he's so smart.
Yeah. So these are a couple things that we're going to start doing. And I have 2 sections here that I'm going to read off of. So he suggests scheduling a CEO reset day.
Ooh.
I want this so bad.
Yeah. Let's put this on the calendar.
Like seriously soon. Like as soon as we get off this recording, we will schedule this where we can do some journaling. We can also reassess our goals. Maybe we even need to like realign them. And do like a vision review, which, you know, we have our vision boards. Why not look at them and see what we can cross off of those boards? Because I know there are several things that we can cross off.
Yeah. And I realized that we actually we never made a Chores and More vision board. I feel like we need a Chores and More vision board and we need a Hustle Haven vision board.
Of course.
So that we can make sure that we're aligned.
Or even better yet,
our vivid vision.
We need vivid vision.
Oh my gosh. Vivid vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, you know, having vision, even if you don't have your like the bandwidth to do a vivid vision, which if you don't know what that is, look up the book Vivid Vision and read it. It's really good. A vision board is great because it helps you remember where you're going and why you're like going there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And it also keeps you like, because you forget the things that you've accomplished or things that you've done if you're not like kind of going back and checking, because we all get so lost in the day-to-day of our lives and our businesses. So I think that that's super important.
Yeah. It also helps you stay motivated because something that we do a lot is we mind map, which did we do an episode about mind mapping?
I don't remember.
I don't know if we did.
I don't think so.
I don't think so
either.
To the list. Add it to the list. We mind map a lot. And then it's so amazing to go in months later and look at your mind map and we're like crossing stuff off that we did, like things that we said we were going to do. We're very good implementers, I will say, where we're like, okay, done. And it refuels you. You're like, wow, I got so much accomplished.
Yeah.
What can I do next?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then some other things that Chester says is to cut out unnecessary tasks to reduce clutter and delegate. So gosh, this is so important.
This is something we are planning to do immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah. It's so important to have help. And even if you don't know what that help is, just like figure out what's not bringing you joy and hire somebody else who can do it. Because in a lot of cases, they may like it more than you. And they might be better at it because they might not be so directly tied to it.
True. And if they like it, they'll be better at it. If you like something, you're naturally better at it.
Just because you don't like doing something doesn't mean that there's somebody else who wouldn't like doing it, if that makes sense. So make sure you do that. And then this one I love, he says, take a pause, not a pivot, because sometimes you don't need to like pivot your entire business, your entire life because something happens or something minor. For example, being requested back at a house and enrolling in nail school. Not that I have complaints about that. I love being a nail tech because I always have my nails done. But obviously, I'm still in this industry. I did not pivot into that industry, but I almost did. And honestly, it was a lot of money and a lot of time and all these things. You don't have to be as dramatic as I am.
No, that's dramatic. Crazy. Okay. He also gave us some good mindset reframing to keep going.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to keep going when you are feeling unmotivated or down in the dumps. It's really hard to keep going. And we kind of already touched on this about knowing your why. But he says, use a why did I start this journal prompt.
Love that.
I think getting it down on paper is so smart.
So good.
So we need to have like a night where we do all of this.
Like a little journaling
CEO night.
Vision board, CEO night.
Ooh.
Please. You know that if we have that, we're just going to watch a movie and eat lots of popcorn and go to sleep.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. We will. We really will. We do need this. But why did I start this journal prompt is amazing because I just feel like we do forget.
We do forget.
And you can think about it. Like, you know, like obviously I think about my whys all the time, but like when you really like write it down and like let your like brain like submerge in it, I feel like there is something really transformational about that.
Yeah. You can get more deeper than just like, oh, you know, to help people. But it's like, why do I want to help people? Why, like, you know what I mean? You can why your whys.
Yeah.
You know,
another thing that you can do during your CEO night is he says, write a thank you note to your past self for not giving up. I love that. But you can also take time to write a letter to your future self.
Ooh.
That wasn't on here. That was
I like that.
all in Holly's brain.
Not Chester.
Not Chester. But this is why we make such a good couple. So, but yeah, write a note to your past self. Thank your past self for going through all the shit that it's gone through, because you have been through a lot. We all have. And sometimes it's nice to give yourself praise and recognition, and you deserve that. And writing a note to your future self, I mean, you can read that in 10 years and be like, wow, I've come a long way. I wouldn't say 10. I'd say probably 3. But regardless, I've come a long way, like from this note, you know? So that's something really cool. And it can also get you excited about those whys that we just mentioned.
Yeah.
So definitely. I think that that's really good.
I love that. He also suggested, which this is also really cool, build a bounce back routine using things such as exercise, prayer, journaling, and a CEO playlist. What's a CEO playlist?
Some feel good music, probably. Like Eye of the Tiger.
I'm a boss.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about?
Or like Michelle Obama.
Yes.
No $dollars,
boss.
You know?
Yeah. No, I think that's so great because Holly and I we're in a season of burnout. You know, we are in a season operating a growing cleaning business while opening up a second business is really, really hard. It's not easy. I'm not going to lie to you. It's not all rainbows and butterflies. It's really hard. And we've been talking about all the things that we need to do on the back end to make ourselves feel better. So something as small as exercising or praying more is going to go such a long way in those seasons of burnout, because it's going to make you a better person.
Yeah.
It's going to make you a better leader, better boss.
Yeah. So what are those routines that you're going to start implementing?
Yeah.
Let us know. I'm so curious. I want to know what makes you feel better when you are going through it and when you're in the thick of it. I mean, I love going for walks outside. I love it. I love walking the dog. It's like one of my favorite things. It just, I don't know. It's like an immediate refresh. And now I like paddling on the lake.
Because we're lake girls now. Also, the dog heard you say that, and now she's like, oh, we're going?
She did just come out from under the chair. You guys can't see her, but she's being a little cutie patootie right now. And so, yeah, I just feel like, you know, and I still feel this way from time to time, but it's significantly less. But you don't need to burn it all down. Sometimes you just need a nap and a notebook, and you'll be okay.
Or a peppermint mocha. And a friend who reminds you who you are. This is on the list. If you couldn't tell.
You couldn't have told for me. I acted that very well. Thank you.
Well.
You did not.
I did not.
You were a mess, I did not. But I did it great.
This is why the acting degree did not work. Dead.
I can't.
But yeah.
So there you have it. Our darkest moments, some of them anyway, are raw and real and vulnerable and sucky moments. And actually, there was an affirmation on this page that I wanted to share that Chester so kindly said. Here we go. He gave me an affirmation that he wants me to share with you guys, and I really like it. It says, hard days don't mean a hard life. My purpose is stronger than my pressure.
Ooh, that's so good. I'm about to get that tattooed on me, bro.
So good. My purpose is stronger than my pressure. Insane. Thank you, ChatGPT. Thank you. But seriously, so good. Like, just remember that your whys are bigger than Karen with a complaint.
Yeah.
You know, your purpose is bigger than the person who got mad at you for forgetting to wipe an end table. Like what happened to us. It will get better, and like things are going to get bigger, and your dreams are going to come true. And I know that sounds so crazy, but it kind of goes back to last week's episode. Like, you just don't even know what the future holds, but you have to keep going. Even when you want to quit, you have to keep going. Lean on those support systems, have reset days, take time to pause, like call your best friend, call your husband, your wife, vent it out a little bit, delegate. There's so many things you can do to make you feel better and get you through it.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
I know.
That was gorgeous. I know. It wasn't even from ChatGPT.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, I hope, as always, our goal is that this was helpful for you. And as Holly said earlier in the episode, if you are in a season where you are struggling or you are thinking about giving up, reach out to us. You can email us always at hustle.podcast@gmail.com. Follow us on social medias, DM us. All of our socials and how to connect with us will be listed in the show notes. We always want to hear from you. And in your darkest days, do not quit, because you don't know what's on the other side.